our new house from Aumkara Structural Bodyworks. Tomato juice. Why fast? Why drink it at all? Well, the spiritual quality of tomatoes is mental strength. Something to think about when you're stressed out and having to use your mind a lot. And that's from the Art and Science of Rajayoga by Swami Kriyananda. And from the Teachings of Paramhansa Yogananda, author of Autobiography of Yogi, we have these interesting facts about a tomato. When enjoying a ripe, luscious tomato, it would be difficult to realize that not so very long ago, this so-called love apple was unknown in quantity in the human dietary. Interesting way of saying diet. In fact, it was considered poisonous and was tolerated in the garden only for decorative purposes because of its rich red coloring. Today, by dietitians everywhere, this was written back in the 30s. The word dietitian is a little more prominent then and now, although you occasionally will hear it. Usually we think of people who are, they actually have a different word than a diet specialist. Today, by dietitians everywhere, it is conceded to be one of the most important vegetables. It's actually a fruit because it has seeds inside, and most people would call it that, but occasionally it still gets called a vegetable. From the standpoint of alkalinity and its wealth of important vitamins needed by the body, it is easily digested, attractive to the eye, pleasant to the taste, and highly recommended as a curative food. It is also an excellent substitute periodically for orange juice. And one of the things we need to mention about tomato juice is that it has, according to the label on the Newton's Organic brand, it has 2 grams of protein per serving. That alone makes it much easier for fasting and curing simply because of the protein content will stabilize your blood sugar. Excuse me. Yeah, one of the most, going back to the importance of the liver specifically for health, is its effect on the liver. And backtracking to talk a little bit about the liver, it is one of the most interesting laboratories in the world, located right within you. Incidentally, it's also the largest organ and it has a tremendous amount of work, as well as important duties to perform. Usually the time comes when it has been overworked, in which event, like an overworked horse or human being, it rebels and lies down on the job. The liver, together with the spleen, is an important place where iron is stored and utilized for its normal supply or for an emergency, when there has been any undue loss of blood. Therefore, it is essential that the liver's health is considered and that overeating avoided, and also that occasional rest be given to this important organ. The latter is accomplished by a strict fast on high-vibrating fruits or vegetable juices, or both. Among these, very few seem to work on that organ with the same efficacy as tomatoes. Indeed, the tomato is a curative specific for most liver conditions. The lemon is another liver tonic, and though its antiseptic qualities are incomparable, it cannot be taken in as large quantities as the tomato, for it is not as nutritious and sustaining. Trying to get down a lot of lemonade as a way to, it would just lemon juice per se, it would be hard because it would just be so tart. Interestingly enough, tomatoes, according to Yogananda, do not lose its mineral properties when being cooked or canned compared to other fruits and vegetables. Of course, he goes on to say, any food kept near as its natural state as possible is the ideal. Frying, stewing, pickling, peeling, salting, and preserving were never intended by Mother Nature, and though canned tomatoes is certainly recommended during the winter months and in localities where it is not obtainable, there is nothing quite comparable to a ripe, juicy tomato picked from the vine in its sun-soaked state. If you've got a garden, include this plant and use them in an abundance of them. One of the things he doesn't talk about, though, is that putting them in your diet with a starch, he goes into that in another place, we lose that alkaline reaction in the body. So including a starch, and this is true of most fruits and vegetables, definitely fruits, all of a sudden we've gone from something that will create alkalinity in your system, which is another way of saying available oxygen or available electrons, that by themselves will stop disease in its tract, at least if they're caused by bacteria or viruses or fungus or mold. All of those need an acidic environment to sustain their life. Either when they go into an alkaline environment, they either go dormant or simply die. That's something that's been known for quite some time in the world of medicine, and really you don't hear about it very much. A doctor in 1934 named Otto Warburg received the Nobel Peace Prize for Medicine for that contribution, that all illnesses were in an alkaline and acidic environment. Now, most people can stand 3 days of fasting just on tomato juice. You take a glass every 2 hours and follow with a glass of water. And in your case, if that's too much water, you can reduce it so it's not every time. And if even that much liquid is a lot, I mean, that would be 6 glasses total. If you do a glass of tomato juice and a glass of water in the morning, a glass at midday, and a glass at night, that's 6 glasses of water. You probably need more liquid in total in your diet, but that might be sufficient for some people who are extremely ill just to have that much intake into their system for 3 days. Most of us can do more. In my recent cleanse, I was able to put down 1.5 to 2 of these per day pretty easily. So, what else do we do besides drink tomato juice during our fast? You can also incorporate a gallbladder cleanse. Yogananda didn't talk about this. This is more something that if you are really feeling a lot of challenge from the gallbladder, like if you've been given an MRI or an X-ray by your doctor showing that you've got stones, what you can do for that is grapefruit juice in the morning, 6 to 8 ounces, followed by 2 ounces of extra virgin olive oil. And you want to get one that's very light in flavor, because the ones that have a lot of green to them can be really hard and burn your throat, very aggressive. The Arbequina olives are very mild in their taste. That's something to consider. And then to soften gallstones, magnesium malate, and we want to see a lot. This one is 1,300 milligrams per capsule. And 2 to 3 of those a day while you're doing the cleanse for the gallbladder will help. Don't be surprised if you find green things floating in your toilet at the appropriate time. Bile from the liver that is in the gallbladder and not moving well will be green. In addition, you could also have a morning slice of lime in water. You could also, to make it more balancing, depending on how things are feeding to you, could, and if just straight limes are too bitter, and if you're already doing tomato juice all day long, you may need a little variety. There's also another property. I talked about this using honey in warm water, a teaspoon of honey in warm water, and a slice of lime as a healing drink all of itself in another video. If it's in cold weather, you may need to have some tea, an herbal tea or decaf green tea is also a possibility. I used roast aroma, and along with roast aroma I would have some Gary's Meadow Fresh milk. This one has the nice cream top on top, comes in a glass bottle. There are other milks in your area, I hope, that are not homogenized. Homogenization breaks up the milk fat and is something that's much harder for the body to digest. The chain links are totally disruptive. This is much easier to get down. Tastes better too. If during your tomato juice cleanse, fast, you get an upset stomach, what do we do? Warm food is a possibility. Another possibility is apple in abundance. You could bake the apple, put some cinnamon on it, that also will help to calm the tummy. A little ginger on it too would be good. And these will help absorb. When we're feeling nauseated, there's something we're probably detoxing, something's getting dumped in. Probably from the gallbladder. That's a lot of wonderful ideas on tomato juice fasting and cleansing. I'm Aumkara for Aumkara Structure Bodyworks. Pain-free, strength, flexibility, it's your birthright.